Chapter 21. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the priests, the descendants of Aaron. A priest must not make himself ceremonially unclean by touching the dead body of a relative. The only exceptions are his closest relatives, his mother or father, son or daughter, a brother, or his virgin sister who depends on him because she has no husband. But a priest must not defile himself and make himself unclean for someone who is related to him only by marriage. The priest must not shave their heads, nor trim their beards, or cut their bodies. They must be set apart as holy to their God, and must never bring shame on the name of the Lord of God. They must be holy. They must be holy, for they are the ones who present the special gifts to the Lord, gifts of food for their God. Priests may not marry a woman defiled by prostitution, and they may not marry a woman who is divorced from her husband. For the priests are set apart as holy to their God. You must treat them as holy because they offer up food to your God. You must consider them holy because I am the Lord, and I am holy, and I make you holy. If a priest's daughter defiles herself by becoming a prostitute, she also defiles her father's holiness, and she must be burned to death. The high priest has the highest rank of all the priests. The anointing oil has been poured on his head, and he has been ordained to wear the priestly garments. He must never leave his hair uncombed or tear his clothing. He must not defile himself by going near a dead body. He must not make himself ceremonially unclean for his father or mother. He must not defile the sanctuary of his God by leaving it to attend to a dead person, for he has been made holy by the anointing oil of his God. I am the Lord. The high priest may marry only a virgin. He may not marry a widow, a woman who is divorced, or a woman who has defiled herself by prostitution. She must be a virgin from his own clan, so that he may not dishonor his descendants among his clan, for I am the Lord who makes him holy. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to Aaron and all future generations. None of your descendants who has any defect will qualify to offer food to his God. No one who has a defect qualifies, whether he is blind, lame, disfigured, deformed, or has a broken foot or arm, or is hunchbacked or dwarfed, or he has defective eye, or skin, scars, or scabs, or damaged testicles. No descendant of Aaron who has a defect may approach the altar to present special offerings to the Lord. Since he has a defect, he may not approach the altar to offer for food to his God. However, he may eat from the food offered to God, including the holy offerings and the most holy offerings. Yet because his physical defect, he may not enter the room behind the inner curtain or approach the altar, for this would defile my holy places. I am the Lord who makes them holy." So Moses gave these instructions to Aaron and his sons and all the Israelites. Chapter 22. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons to be very careful with the sacred gifts that the Israelites set apart for me, so they do not bring shame on my holy name. I am the Lord. Give them the following instructions. In all future generations, if any of your descendants is ceremonially unclean when he approaches the sacred offerings that the people of Israel consecrate to the Lord, he must be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord. If any of Aaron's descendants has a skin disease or any kind of discharge that makes him ceremonially unclean, he may not eat from the sacred offerings until he has been pronounced clean. He also becomes unclean by touching a corpse or by having an emission an emission of semen, or by touching a small animal that is unclean, or by touching someone who is ceremonially unclean for any reason. The man who is defiled in any of these ways will remain unclean until evening. He may not eat from the sacred offerings until he has bathed himself in water. When the sun goes down, he will be ceremonially clean again and may eat from the sacred offerings, for this is his um for this is his food. He may not eat an animal that has died a natural death or has been torn apart by a wild animal, for this would defile him. I am the Lord. The priest must follow my instructions carefully, otherwise they will be punished for their sin and would die for violating my instructions. I am the Lord who makes them holy. No one outside the priest's family may eat the sacred offerings. Even guests and hired workers in a priest's home are not allowed to eat them. However, if a priest buys a slave for himself, the slave may eat from the sacred offerings, and if his slave have children, they also may share his food. If a priest's daughter marries someone outside the priestly family, she may no longer eat the sacred offering. But if she becomes a widow or is divorced and has no children to support her, and she returns to live in her father's home as in her youth, she may eat her father's food again. And otherwise, no one outside a priest's family may eat the sacred offering. Any such person who eats the sacred offerings without realizing it must pay the priest for the amount eaten, plus an additional 20%. The priest must not let the Israelites defile the sacred offerings brought to the Lord by allowing unauthorized people to eat them. This would bring guilt upon them and require them to pay compensation. I am the Lord who makes them holy. And the Lord said to Moses, Give Aaron and his sons, all the Israelites, these instructions, which apply both to native Israelites and foreigners living among you. If you present a gift as a burnt offering to the Lord, whether it is fulfill a vow or is a voluntary offering, you will be accepted only if your offering is a male animal with no defects. It may be a bull, a ram, or a male goat. Do not present an animal with defects, because the Lord will not accept it on your behalf. If you present a peace offering to the Lord from the herd of the flock, whether it is to fulfill a vow or it is a voluntary offering, you must offer a perfect animal. It may have no defects of any kind. You must not offer an animal that is blind, crippled, or injured, or that has a wart, a skin sore, or scabs. Such animals must never be offered on the altar as special gifts to the Lord. If a bull or lamb has a leg that is too long or too short, it may be offered as a voluntary offering, but it may not be offered to fulfill a vow. If an animal has damaged testicles or is castrated, you may not offer it to the Lord. You must never do this in your own land, and you must not accept such an animal from foreigners and then offer it as a sacrifice to your God. Such animals will not be accepted on your behalf, for they are mutilated, or defective. And the Lord said to Moses, When a calf or lamb or goat is born, it must be left with its mother for 7 days. From the 8th day on, it will be acceptable as a special gift to the Lord. But you must not slaughter a mother animal and her offering on the same day, whether from the herd or the flock. When you bring a thanksgiving offering to the Lord, sacrifice it properly, so that you will be accepted. Eat the entire sacrificial animal on the day it is presented. Do not leave any of it until the next morning. I am the Lord. You must faithfully keep all my commands by putting them into practice, for I am the Lord. Do not bring shame on my holy name, for I will display my holiness along the people of Israel. I am the Lord who makes you holy. It was I who rescued you from the land of Egypt. that I might be your God. I am the Lord. Chapter 23. Then the Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel. These are the Lord's appointed festivals, which you are to proclaim as official days for holy assembly. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath day of complete rest, an official day for holy assembly. It is the Lord's Sabbath day, and it must be observed wherever you live. In addition to the Sabbath, these are the Lord's appointed festivals, the official days for holy assembly that are to be celebrated at their proper times each year. The Lord's Passover begins at sundown on the 14th day of the first month. On the next day, the 15th day of the month, you must begin celebrating the festival of unleavened bread. This is the festival to the Lord. This festival to the Lord continues for 7 days, and during that time the bread you eat must be made without yeast. On the first day of the festival, all the on their ordinary work and observe an official day for holy assembly. For 7 days you must present special gifts to the Lord. On the seventh day the people must again stop their ordinary work to observe an official day for holy assembly. Then the Lord says to Moses, give the following instructions to the Lord, or to the people of Israel, When you enter the land I am giving you, and you harvest its first crops, bring the priest a bundle of grain from the first cutting of your grain harvest. On the seventh day, on the day after the Sabbath, the priest will lift it up before the Lord so that it may be accepted on your behalf. On that same day you must sacrifice a 1-year-old lamb, male lamb with no defects, as a burnt offering to the Lord. With it you must present a grain offering consisting of 4 quarts of choice flour moistened with olive oil. It will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. You must offer 1 quart of wine as a liquid offering. Do not eat any bread or roasted grain or fresh kernels on the day until you bring this offering to your Lord. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. From the day after the Sabbath, the day you bring the bundle of grain to be lifted up as a special offering, count off 7 full weeks. Keep counting until the day after the 7th Sabbath, 50 days later. Then present an offering of new grain to the Lord from wherever you live. Bring 2 loaves of bread to be lifted up before the Lord as a special offering. Make these loaves from 4 quarts of choice flour to bake them with yeast. Then they will be an offering to the Lord from the first of your crops along with bread. Present 7 1-year-old male lambs with no defects, 1 young bull, and 2 rams as a burnt offering to the Lord. These burnt offerings, together with the grain offering and liquid offerings, will be a special gift, a pleasing aroma to the Lord. Then you must offer 1 male goat as a sin offering, and a 2-year-old male lamb, and 2 1-year-old male lambs as a peace offering. The priest will lift up the 2 lambs as a special offering to the Lord, together with the loaves representing the first of your crops. These offerings, which are holy to the Lord, belong to the priest. The same day will be proclaimed an official day for holy assembly, a day on which you do no ordinary work. This is a permanent law for you. It must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. When you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your fields, and do not pick up what the harvesters drop. Leave it for the poor and the foreigners living among you. I am the Lord your God. The Lord said to Moses, give the following instructions to the people of Israel on the first day of the appointed month in early autumn. You are to observe a day of complete rest. It will be an official day for holy assembly, a day commemorated with loud blast of a trumpet You must do no ordinary work on that day. Instead, you are to present special gifts to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Be careful to celebrate a day of atonement, on the 10th day of the same month, 9 days after the festival of trumpets. You must observe it as a official day for holy assembly, a day to deny yourselves, a present special gift to the Lord. Do not work during that entire day, because it is the day of anointment, when offerings of purification are made for you, making you right with the Lord your God. All who do not deny themselves that day will be cut off from God's people, and I will destroy anyone among you who does any work on that day. You must not do any work at all. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed from generation to generation wherever you live. This is a Sabbath, a day of complete rest for you, and on that day you must deny yourselves. This day of rest will begin at sundown on the 9th day of the month and extended until sundown on the 10th day." And the Lord said to Moses, "Give the following instructions to the people of Israel. Begin celebrating the festival of shelters on the 15th day of the appointed month, 5 days after the Day of Atonement. This festival to the Lord will last for 7 days. On the first day, the festival, you must proclaim an official day of holy assembly, when you do no ordinary work. For the 7 days you must present special gifts to the Lord. The 8th day is another holy day on which you present your special gifts to the Lord. This will be a solemn occasion on no ordinary work, and no ordinary work may be done that day. These are the Lord's appointed festivals. Celebrate each year as official days for holy assembly by presenting special gifts to the Lord: burnt offerings, grain offerings, sacrifices, and liquid offerings, each on its proper day. These festivals must be observed in addition to the Lord's regular Sabbath days, and the offerings are in addition to your personal gifts. The offerings you give to fulfill your vows and voluntary offerings you present to the Lord. Remember that this 7-day festival to the Lord, the festival of shelters, begins on the 15th day of the appointed month, after you have harvested all the produce of the land. The first day and the 8th day of the festival will be days of complete rest. On the first day, gather branches from magnificent trees, palm fronds, boughs from leafy trees, and willows that grow by the streams. These then celebrate with joy before the Lord your God for 7 days. You must observe this festival to the Lord for 7 days each year. This is a permanent law for you, and it must be observed in the appointed month for generation to generation. For 7 days you must live outside in little shelters. All native-born Israelites must live in shelters. This will remind each new generation of Israelites that I made their ancestors live in shelters when I rescued them from the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God." So Moses gave the Israelites these instructions regarding the annual festivals of the Lord. Okay, so that was our reading for today. It was kind of long, 18 minutes, more towards 19, but it wasn't, it was just a normal reading, kind of. So, chapter 21 was a lot of instructions to the priests, who they could marry, how they were qualified, and things of that sort. So kind of like, in order for them to qualify, they had to have no defects, no skin diseases, and obviously they had to be in the birthright of Aaron and his sons. And that was for the high priest and all the priests, basically. The high priest could also, he was like, because he was supposed to be the most holy, for the Lord, he was more, I guess you could say, strict on who he could marry and things of that sort, because it says that he had to marry, she had to be a virgin, she couldn't be unclean, or I don't know what the exact word was, but I'm just going to say bad, because of prostitution and things like that. She couldn't be divorced or a widow or anything of that sort. And so yeah, and then he had to have no defects. Chapter 22 was again a lot about the priest and things like that. And he talked about that the priest could not leave the tabernacle unattended to go see a dead person, I believe. And they were not able to touch corpse of any dead person besides close relatives, like close relatives, like mom, dad, brother, or sister. Um, Chapter 23 was the appointed, with a lot of the festivals. And to name some, there's the Passover festival and the festival of unleavened bread, the first harvest festival, the festival of harvest, the festival of trumpets, and then the Day of Atonement, and then the festival of shelters. And so all of those have their different meanings and things that you have to do. Kind of like with the festival of shelters, how you have to be in the the edge of the land, and you have to live in shelters to remind the generations that that's what they lived. The Israelites lived in when they were leaving Egypt. The Day of Atonement was the 9 days, or like the 7 days where you had to trying to find it. So you couldn't work the entire day. So it was, be careful on this Day of Atonement. 9 days after the Festival of Trumpets. It was a day to deny yourselves. It was a day to present special gifts to the Lord. You could not work the entire day because the Day of Atonement, because it is the Day of Atonement. Your offerings were for purification and things like that. I'm gonna say one. I'm gonna find one. The celebration of first harvest. That's where you would give, bring the priest a bundle of grain from the first cutting of your grain harvest. So the first bundle that you ever cut from your first harvest is given to the priest to give to the Lord, kind of in the same way that they would take a representative amount of grain, and they would use that to give to the Lord with your grain offerings. So that was pretty much it. That was a quick Bible study. So yeah, that chapter 21, 22, and 23. Yeah, 21, 22, and 23. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. I did put a picture of the 5 offerings up there, and then I did another picture of the festival, so you could also check those out if you wanted to see specific verses. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye. Bye.